Hey guys, Jenny again. So I thought I would make a video of like comparing the differences between LA and New York since I just came back from New York. So I think I'll have a list of I have it on here and it's actually written. Yes, I know, it's so old school one too. I have like nine-ish things, so I'll probably come up with a 10th one and be like, oh, here's 10 things. So here's 10 things that are different from between New York and LA that I've noticed, because I'm obviously not from New York, I'm from LA. Pasadena. But, okay, first thing, pedestrian crossing. New York people do not understand what pedestrian crossing is. If you're a pedestrian in New York, you can literally cross anytime. It doesn't, the signal thing doesn't have to be a walking person. Like, no one in New York follows that. For some weird reason, even though you're supposed to yield to pedestrians and drivers are supposed to yield to pedestrians, but they don't do that. And pedestrians, they cross literally anywhere. As long as there's no cars on either side of the street, they cross no matter what. If it's red light, green light, yellow light, blue light, they cross. They don't care about being hit. But in LA, if you do that, you will 1, get killed, 2, maybe get ticketed by police if you get caught, or 3, risk your life just to cross the street. And 4, LA drivers don't really do that, and if you do cross the street when there's like the signal is red, you're gonna be called crazy, or you know, that's not normal in LA. But in New York, that's like the new thing. So yeah, that was kind of shocking for me because I didn't know that, and it was like, why do these people cross the street if it's like a red light? That's weird. But I guess after being in New York for a week, I kind of figured that that was the new thing. After being in for 2 days, I mean, you kind of like adjust to the New York surroundings and you just be a New Yorker. This beanie is very appropriate. Second, people in New York do not know how to drive. They don't know how to drive, they don't yield to pedestrians like I've mentioned, they don't really follow traffic rules, and they don't care if you get killed because I don't know why. They just don't know how to drive, and they just don't really follow traffic rules. Because if it's a red light, they will still turn. They will still cross the street. As long as I think that like no people are crossing, but that's like very, very not common in New York because there's always people. And they don't even yield to pedestrians. Like, people in LA, they will yield to pedestrians. If you're a good Samaritan and you just follow the rules of the DMV, follow the handbook, you will yield to pedestrians. But in New York, that doesn't happen. I don't know why. Maybe they don't take the DMV test in New York or something, or another part of New York where there's less people, and they think that they can run people over. I don't know, but New York people, they don't know how to drive. It kind of reminds me of China in a bad way, because there's always honking, there's always people driving recklessly, there's always people crossing where they're not supposed to be crossing, you know, but in a less aggressive way, because people in China, they kind of just, it's rowdy and loud and yelling everywhere, but in New York, they're kind of all friendly and everything, so I don't know what's up with that. So yeah, that's that. Third thing, as I mentioned, you might get killed in New York. In New York, people don't know how to drive. When you're a pedestrian and you're crossing, you're pretty much risking your life to cross the street, which I don't know why people in New York do that. That's like weird in LA because you're gonna be called crazy here. Yeah, I don't know why, but you might get killed in New York. But they don't care, because I think that's like the new thing in New York. You don't really care if you're killed because you just expect cars to yield to you, even though cars don't yield to you. So I don't really know how New York rules work, because they don't work the same way that LA rules work. So I mean, in New York, you're crossing the street and you don't get killed, but in LA, if you cross the street like you would in New York, you would probably get killed because you would not really follow traffic signs. So I don't know. Yeah, that. Number 4, traffic is horrible. I don't know why people own cars in New York. I really don't know why. Because traffic is like 100 times more worse than the 110 in downtown LA in Los Angeles. It's so much worse. It's literally bumper to bumper. It's literally like this every 5 minutes. Like, you're not moving. Walking is faster than driving. That's how bad traffic is in New York. Like, I think I mentioned this to my New York vlog. We left for our flight at 5 o'clock, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, thinking that we would make it. And we barely made it because the plane was delayed. That's how bad it was. And we took the bus and thinking that, you know, it just be the bus, it'd be fast. It wouldn't take us 3 hours to get to the airport, but it did. And next time, take the subway. Never, ever, ever take public transportation that runs on concrete. Always take underground transportation because it's much more faster and so much more convenient. Speaking of underground transportation, there are rats in New York in the underground transportation, and there sometimes are hobos, but they're kind of chill, not like the hobos in LA where they're kind of crazy. And you know, I mean, not to say that hobos, no, I wouldn't say hobos, homeless people in New York aren't crazy, but I haven't encountered a lot of crazy homeless people in New York, whereas in LA, here, in Union Station and everything, homeless people are everywhere. And they're kind of crazy, and they're kind of like, they're strange people. The weird subway system. The weird subway system, I think it's weird because it's numbered strange. There's like, okay, if I'm not mistaken, I remember there was like an M train and a Z train, a T train, and there was also like 1, 2, 3, so I don't really know how that system really works. Because here, it's like for example, the Gold Line. It's, for example, like Highland Park Station, Mission Station, Zusa Station. It's like that. The Gold Line, the Silver Line, the Blue Line, the Purple Line. It's called different colored lines. But in New York, it's called like the M train. I'm just making up these ones because I don't remember making up letters. M train, the Z train, the T train, the S train. I don't even know if they're actually real. I'm just making this up. And then there's like the 1 train, the 3 train, the 6 train. For example, the 6 train would go, I'm just making these up. The 6 train would go from downtown Brooklyn to uptown Brooklyn. I don't really know the names, but. And then like the M train would go from the Upper East Side to the Lower East Side. I don't really know. I'm not from New York, so I don't know these things. Anyways, but I just think the system is kind of strange, like the numbering and the naming of them, because I feel like if you name them by the city or like a line, like kind of how LA does it, it's much faster. But because I think New York is based on subways, and the train system and the subway system is more, it's more prevalent. That's why they name it so many different names, and like they have to name it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or something like that, and then A, B, C, D, E, F. That's why they have to name it like by the alphabet and the numbers, because it's so complicated, it's so diverse, it's more prevalent than in LA. Because in LA there's only so much that you could put in, like in the LA region, I think in San Francisco region, for example in California, there's only a few places that you could put it. And then where in New York, I think it's much more smaller than California, so I think it's more condensed, and so that's why they have to name it specific names particular to that like line or whatever. Moving on, rats. I mentioned that. Oh, food trucks. Oh my god, there's so many food trucks. Food is everywhere in New York, or at least in like the central part of New York, like Manhattan? Brooklyn, Times Square, that area. I don't know. I really don't know my geography. I never really took geography. I took it in 5th grade, but that's about it, and then I stopped. Anyways, food trucks. There are food trucks everywhere in New York, and there's so much food. Oh my god. 99-cent pizza is the best. If you go to New York, I recommend you get 99-cent pizza. Doesn't matter where it's from, it's gonna be the same quality pizza, or it should be. 99-cent pizza. It is the best pizza. And yeah, There's food everywhere. Halal, guys. There are food trucks everywhere in New York, or at least this is the Times Square region, Brooklyn region, Manhattan region. I don't remember where I went, but it's somewhere around there. That central part of the region. Sorry. Anyways, there, and like basically the Big Apple, not the Big Apple, because I don't think. Well, no. Okay, around the main part of New York. For example, like Los Angeles would be like not the epicenter, but like where people go when they travel. Let's just say that. Tourist areas. There we go. Tourist area. So there's food trucks everywhere there. There's halal guys. There's mostly halal guys, and there's not like hot dog stands or anything because I don't know if there are, but there's really good food in New York. There's food everywhere. Food everywhere, really cheap food. There's like halal guys, which is basically like, I'm not sure, but it's like, it looks like Mediterranean, Middle Eastern food, but I'm not really sure what it is. It's like, you get beef, like a beef plate with rice, veggies, and that's about like $6, and it's pretty big, like pretty big portion size. I mean, me and my boyfriend, like, we share that. It's like, depending on who sells it and where it's selling it at, it could range from anywhere from $6 to $8. But yeah, those are really good, and you should definitely check out the actual halal guy store. There's like it's an actual store. It's not like a food truck. So comparing that to LA, well, in LA there's not many food trucks, and if there are food trucks, if it's cheap, it's probably not good, and if it's expensive, it's good, but you don't want to pay for it. So there's not really many food trucks in LA. Yeah, LA, there's not really many food trucks, and there's not food everywhere. I mean, maybe there's food in like, you know, Venice Beach, and you know, like there's tourist attractions obviously, but those are really expensive also. And in New York, the tourist attractions, like the food there, like for example 99-cent pizza, that's not very expensive. And you would think that food is expensive in New York, but depending on where you go, it's really not that expensive if you know the right place. Like if you Yelp places, they'll tell you like places where there's like $1 sign, $2 signs, and whatever. It's actually not too expensive in New York, but I mean, the apartments are expensive. That's not food, but no, food isn't that expensive if you know where to go. So if you know the right place to go, food is not that expensive in New York. But in LA, the price ranges. Like, it really depends. If it's like good quality food, is good food. If it's good food, then it's probably on the more expensive side. But there's not that many places in LA where you can get like cheap food and it's good. You know, I mean, if you get like for example like Panda Express or Chipotle or something, it's, well, for me, I'm Asian. I don't like Panda Express. I'm pretty sure not many Asians actually like Panda Express. They only buy it just because they know that it's like Chinese food and it's good. It's like somewhat good. So, and then Chipotle, it's like on the, I would say it's on like the $2 sign areas. But I mean, if you get like the burrito bowl, that's worth it. But it's still like pretty pricey, but it's not too pricey, and like it's not like super duper pricey. But you really have to know where to look in LA. Like LA, food is literally like scattered everywhere. There's parts in like Pasadena, there's parts in Temple City, there's parts in Alhambra. Like there's food places everywhere, but it's scattered. Whereas in New York, there's food places everywhere, and it's like everywhere, literally everywhere in the region, like in Brooklyn or something. There's food places everywhere. Like it's all centered around Brooklyn. There's just food, like all food in Brooklyn. Like it's all centered, like a plaza of food or something. Whereas in LA, it's just scattered everywhere. That was a long talk. No grocery stores. So in like, at least the part where I went to, like the touristy areas, I probably saw only like one or two grocery stores, and not even a lot. It was like, and it was like a really hipster one, like for example, like Fresco or something, if you know what that is, or like what is it? What's that really expensive place called? Whole Foods, like a Whole Foods, like it's one of those places like that I saw, and those weren't very prevalent. But I think because, I mean, if you're going to a tourist attraction place and if you're going out with friends, why would you go to grocery stores? Like it doesn't really make sense. So I think that was why they didn't have grocery stores there. But speaking of grocery stores, I did see a lot of department stores, especially like Kmart, and I saw TJ Maxx's like randomly, and I saw a lot of Kmart's, and also like pharmacy stores like Walgreens are everywhere. Walgreens and this other place called Dwan Reed, which is apparently owned like a part of Walgreens. I'm not sure what it is. I don't think there's Dwan Reed in California, in LA, but I think it's everywhere in New York, because I always saw those people carrying the Dwan Reed bags, and I went in there and it was literally like a Walgreens, like it was just Walgreens. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like a maybe a subset of Walgreens or something, because it said Dwan Reed by Walgreens, so I don't know what it was. And yeah, there's banks everywhere. Banks, because most of the places, well, if you go there, it's food trucks, and food trucks, they don't accept credit cards, so you would have to get cash. So there's banks literally everywhere. Most of the banks most of the banks I saw were either Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, or Citibank. There were no really other banks I saw. There was this other one called TD. I'm not sure if that was a bank. And there was another one that started with an S that was red. It looked exactly like Bank of America. It was red and white. And I don't know what it was called. It was like some prosody or something. It was like it started with an S and ended with a G. It's a Y, I mean. So there's banks everywhere. Like literally every other block there's banks. And yeah. And then in California, or in LA, California, whatever, you don't really see banks everywhere. I mean, you could probably see banks like every 3 blocks or something. It's not everywhere. I mean, places here, they accept credit cards, and most places have credit card machines unless they're like in Chinatown or something, because they somehow don't really accept credit cards for some reason. I don't know why. There's like stands everywhere. Like for example, where I bought this beanie, it was at a like the best comparison I can make it to is Hong Kong, because I don't know anywhere here. I mean, I guess kind of like, you know, if you go to like 626 or like in Loy and Gai or like Woman Street, like those shops. Do you know how there's like shops everywhere and they sell like, you know, they sell necklaces, they sell keychains, they sell everything. They sell food, you know, everything. Like it's literally, there's stands of those, and they sell like beanies, and they sell, and there was one in Times Square which they sold like fake Gucci, MK, Michael Kors, Calvin Klein, those like bags for like cheap, but it's obviously fake, because you wouldn't, like why else would they be selling it there? They wouldn't be selling like $300 bags there inside New York for, you know, that. Like why would you sell like $300 bags there? I saw those everywhere, and it was just like little shops just there, kind of like in like 626 how there's like separate shops everywhere. Like it's kind of like that, kind of like in Chinatown, I guess, if you don't know what 626 is. Kind of in Chinatown, where there's shops everywhere, little shops, and they're not really like, they don't really have like a name, they're just like shops there, and they're just like, you know, tables there, and they just have beanies everywhere. And that's where I got this actually. No, I got this in a store, but this wasn't a gift store. But because I couldn't find because I saw this beanie also, like a different one, in like a stand just by the street. And then I passed it, and then I came back the next day and I couldn't find it. So that's why I just got it at a gift store. And it was like $10, $5, $10. It wasn't that expensive, so like it's not expensive, like if you know where to go, obviously. And there's just like a lot of shops everywhere just selling beanies and hats, and you know. There's also a lot of them on Brooklyn Bridge, because I went on the Brooklyn Bridge. Like, we went on the Brooklyn Bridge, and then if you go down and you're going down and everything, there's shops. There's like people selling like beanies, Brooklyn Bridge souvenirs, you know. I actually bought this there. This like souvenir. It says New York, and it's like the Empire State thing. I think I bought that in one of the gift shops, but I don't remember where. And I also bought, well, I didn't buy this, my boyfriend bought this. I think it was like in a gift shop. It was in a gift shop. It was like, I think like $20. It's the New York, it's backwards. It's the New York Bull, and it's really cool, and I just gave it to my dad. And I also bought like other stuff, but I don't have it here. Yeah, I don't have it here. But I bought like a keychain, and I gave that to my friend. I bought this snow globe from a shop. It's okay, this is like a reveal what you bought vlog now. I bought this little snow globe. It says New York, and it's basically like, it's really cool. I really like snow globes, and they're really, really cute. And it's like, it's just this little, it's so pretty. It's snowing. Okay, I bought that. I have half a mug. I bought that, and my boyfriend also bought that, and he bought them from coworkers. I just bought them for myself because I thought it was funny. It's like $5. It says it was half a mug, and it said New York was so expensive that I could only afford half a mug, or something like that. It was really cool. It was like a gag gift, but I thought it was really funny, so I just bought it. And yeah. So what was I saying? Shops. Those little stands, they're everywhere in New York. Like in every other block, there's always stands, and they're just like tourist attractions. Like I think also in like China, there's tourist attractions there too, and like everywhere in these little stands. And I think in basically every tourist attraction, there's always that. Because in Venice Beach, there's also a lot of that. So that's not like uncommon, but I just thought it would be kind of cool to share this with you guys. So yeah. Yeah, those are my differences, like differences between New York and LA, specifically LA. And yeah, that's it. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you on the next video.